get us set. Starting with LA. After a big win over the weekend against the Knicks, the Lakers improved to 9-2 this season in games played by Luka and Austin Reeves without LeBron. Hello, Dave McMenamin, who knows very well that a team without LeBron is much more dangerous with the game's all-time scorer in uniform. Are the Lakers anticipating to have James back tonight against Ant and company?
MJ, they're hopeful. On Sunday, LeBron James went to the arena with the intention of playing, but when he went through his pregame warm-up, I'm told that left foot was bothering him. It's dealing with arthritis. That's what happens when you're 41 years old in this game. And now LeBron, the elbow has healed from that fall that he took against the Denver Nuggets, but also his right hip has a bruise there that's been bothering him a little bit from that same fall after Nikola Jokic contacted him on a layup attempt late in the fourth quarter. We'll see how he feels. Obviously, thus far, the two games that the Lakers and Wolves have played have not been a representation of a playoff rematch. The first game, there was no LeBron. The second game, there was no LeBron or Luka. We'll see if tonight this is a true playoff rematch.
Hey, thanks, Dave. And shifting from one four-time champ to another, Steph Curry is going to miss his 15th consecutive game tonight as the Warriors visit Chicago and is set to have his persistent right knee issue reevaluated tomorrow. Anthony Slater is Golden Slate optimistic about getting Curry back sooner rather than later. We'll check right back in with him in a second. But we go to San Antonio, where the Celtics will visit the Spurs. Jaylen Brown has stated that he thinks he is the best two-way player in the game. But on a recent Twitch stream, he had to clarify that a bit.
This is so good.
When I say I'm the best two-way player in the league, it's not counting Wemby. Like, Wemby don't count. Wemby don't count. He not even human. I'm the best human player.
Yeah, that's a big asterisk there, Michael C. Wright. What does Wemby make of hearing praise like that from one of the best players in the game?
Well, Victor actually agrees with Jaylen Brown. Victor said that those comments were a sign of, respect for Victor Wembanyama, but at the same time, he said that those comments don't mean much to him. Victor said that it's the awards that represent and validate that high praise. Those are the things that will be the most important for him. Victor he's the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, but if you spend 5 minutes around that guy, he wants it all. He wants Defensive Player of the Year. He wants MVP, and he's got the numbers for it. So if he can maintain and play that 65 games and the Spurs can continue to have team success, he's got a good chance to walk away with some of that hardware he's worked so hard to attain.
And he wants all the smoke. Thanks, Michael. All right, tonight's matchup between the Spurs and the Celtics will pit the league's two best teams since the start of February. The Spurs 15-1 over that stretch, boast the league's best offense, while the 13-3 Celtics have the NBA's best defense in that time. They don't make matchups more must-watch than this one.
Good week of basketball.
Mark, what are you most excited to see when these two heavyweights square off tonight?
Well, you can't stop Wemby, but you try to contain him. And I think the Celtics have somebody that can try to contain him in the most improved player candidate, Neemias Queta, 7-footer, athletic, good shot blocker. Let's see what he does tonight.
No, I don't think you can stop him or contain him. He's just going to be Victor. The question is, can you contain everybody else? And, this is where Boston's championship experience with their perimeter defense matters. And I think in a game like this, that defense from the Celtics is going to be the one that decides it here, because I don't think you can stop Victor at all.
I was at the game between these two teams a couple months ago in Boston. It was a hell of a game, one of the better ones of the season. You had Victor Wembanyama hit a couple of mid-range jumpers to seal that win for San Antonio. See him here going up and getting a couple buckets here on an alley-oop from Stephon Castle. I'm excited to see Jason Tatum go up against Victor Wembanyama in the Spurs as he continues to make his comeback, see how he looks against this Spurs team, see how they look in comparison to how the Pistons looked against the Spurs in this battle of teams that are near the top of the standings. Detroit did not look like a team, frankly, that was ready to contend with San Antonio over 7 games. We'll see if the Celtics can. And again, let's see how Jason Tatum looks. He continues to get himself back. And, look, do I think the Spurs are getting past the Thunder and getting to the finals? No. But this very well could be an NBA Finals preview, and excited to see how it goes.
They did in the regular season.
JT said he liked playing defense, so here you go, my friend. For more on the games and all things last night, because the last two league MVPs going head-to-head, they tried to make that case. This one had everything. Let's go to the shot sheet. There he is. Shea Butter and the Thunder getting ready to take on the Nuggets, led by Joker. Of course, we're picking it up in the third, guys, because, wow.
Saw a little bit more of that later on, but
yeah.
Shea obviously tying Wilt's record, 126 consecutive 20-point games. Just the consistency of him is remarkable. We saw that all the way until the final buzzer.
Very special moment. Fourth quarter now. Mark, get in there, Jared McCain.
Jared McCain, it's been huge having him.
I don't think they sold too.
No.
Well, it's been huge having him get over there from Philly the last couple weeks, all the injuries
Yeah.
they've had.
So this was
crazy.
intense and scary. Dort on Joker, and if it looked a little familiar, we're going to explain it to you in a second now. But yeah, he sort of whacks his arm there. Not a deviated septum. I don't think that was it.
A little
But
bit of issue with these
remember,
guys going back to last week. This play.
Yeah, that was
a very obvious flagrant 2, and this play last night was a very obvious flagrant 1.
Wait a minute, Spears, do you remember ever seeing Joker with an expression like that?
Yeah, his brother has that expression.
No.
I ain't messing with them dudes.
Not either one of them. Back to Monday night now.
Another pretty consistent guy right there.
Junior to Joker. Love to see that. 36 seconds left in the fourth quarter. SGA with a massive, or her Joker there with a massive shot.
Boy, Jalen Williams had a hell of a game, though.
Yeah, he did. Woo. Here's SGA. He's going back.
Foul.
Crowd
Foul
goes
was
He thought he pushed off a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just able to get into his spot so easily. Which, by the way, again, so does this guy.
Aaron. Like to see him back, too.
Also, Jaylen Williams had an unbelievable game last night.
Foul
You
is
can't.
No, the foul was not.
You got to just let them shoot that shot. Can't give them a chance to get a
He
four-point
knew
play.
it, too, though. And, of course, they take advantage of this.
Yes. Get the tie right here. Jamal Murray.
Boom.
Good to see him back on the court after that ankle sprain the other day. And then this guy gets to have his MVP moment. End the game.
Just let it ride. Because who else would? Other than him, Spears.
Not bad defense from Spencer Jones there.
I just love the animation.
He has right in his face.
It's so good. They tried it.
This shot.
It looked good, didn't it?
It did look
Not
good.
far away from 80 feet.
Look at him.
But alas, no.
Letting them know.
Unbelievable
MVP
win,
sign.
129 to 126. Shea had quite a bit to reflect on after a big night.
Dub in the background
See
there.
the guy on the bench?
That's amazing.
Here's Shea.
Being in a conversation with a guy like that is it's special. It's crazy to think that where I was 10 years ago, I'd be here today. But you work hard, you trust the process, and you look up, and great things can happen for you. And I'm a testament to that.
I don't know how. I don't know. Do people know how hard it is to do that? You know, to play, to make a 20-point game in 10 games, not 120, whatever. It's special, and he's a special player, and it's a pleasure and privilege to battle against him.
Yeah, Wilt isn't the only legend that SGA now shares his stats with. A career-high 15 assists made him just the second player ever with 35 points, 15 assists, and 0 turnovers in a game since they were really being tracked back in 1977. He joins LeBron James in 2018. It's been a minute. All right, an incredible night. The elite of the West going head-to-head. Welcome in, everybody. Woo, so much to unpack. Ramona, this game, I mean, they put on a show for us.
I mean, look, they didn't have Chet Holmgren. They didn't have Alex Caruso. They didn't have all these other players that normally their depth is so critical for the City Thunder. But Shea was just at another level. And I remember covering this playoff series last year, and I walked away thinking, Jokic was the MVP. Like, Jokic, like, I voted for Shea, but Jokic was the better player in that playoff series. After this game and after this regular season series between these two teams, I feel like Shea is the better player. Like, he didn't just hit one dagger, he hit two, he hit three. He just kept coming with the daggers. And I know his quote at the end is one of those all-time quotes. I already have the answers, but I need to know the questions. Follow him on Instagram. He does this all day long. He just drops bars every day.
All the time. Very insightful, too.
Yeah, he's typically Canada dry, crisp, clean, and cool.
Canada dry, like
but yesterday, man, I saw a different SGA, and I loved it. This was Bird.
Yeah.
This was Jordan. This was Iverson. This was Kobe. This was angry. And typically he moves on to the next game and shows some humility. Nah, he was angry. He was talking his talk. He was giving hand gestures. He gave them a peace sign. He told them they need to go somewhere. And I loved it. And perhaps it's because of this MVP race. Perhaps it's because his co-stars weren't there. Perhaps it's because people forgot. I ain't forgot.
No.
I know this dude is special, and he's MVP for a reason, and probably looking to get another one.
Yeah, his name is amongst quite a few of the people right now duking it out for MVP. And Shea said, y'all aren't talking about me enough. Let me remind you, he has all but ended the MVP debate after last night's performance. He's now minus 800 to win the award, with Joker second at 15-1. This felt like a signature moment in this race, Tim. This is your field of expertise. Was it that pivotal shift?
I mean, we'll see what happens over the final few weeks of the season. Shea has to stay healthy, obviously, right? He's only a few games north of that 65-game threshold, which obviously means if he goes below it, he won't be eligible for this award. By the way, Nikola Jokic only one game below that threshold in terms of games missed. Victor Wembanyama, the other guy in the race, he's only a few games away. So injuries could tell the tale. But if these guys all stay healthy, the Thunder stay in the first-place spot in the Western Conference standings. I don't think there's any way Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not going to be the MVP this season. And that game last night, with those two daggers at the end of the game. And like you said, Mark, the emotion of that game. I think it's also the fact these two teams do not like each other. This is an old-fashioned NBA rivalry. You mentioned that 7-game series last year in the playoffs, Ramona. These teams have been duking out a couple years now at the top of the Western Conference standings. And I think you saw last night, that was a guy saying, I want to be ahead of Nikola Jokic in the MVP race, and I want to be on top of him again in the Western Conference playoffs because we want to be the first team since 2018 to win a second straight NBA title.
Yeah, no love lost, and once again, we benefit from it all. Man, SGA, of course, tied Wilt's mark with 126 straight 20-point games. And it's going to be a while before anyone else challenges it. He is 84 games ahead of the next man on the list, who's Kawhi Leonard, who was also in action.
Jaylen Brown in that. I'll take Jaylen Brown in that record.
Okay, can we get 15?
I know, it's nuts. All right, Knicks at Clippers. Kawhi looking to extend that scoring streak and getting into it nice and early here in the first quarter. Clippers up 4. It's a nice bucket for him there.
Kawhi's been an unbelievable rhythm this year. It's been really fun.
Truly, he's moving different, even better. Come on, cousin. Mi primo, Carl Antonio Towns, as I call him.
First 30-point game since December.
Which is nuts. Since right after Christmas.
Yes.
What are we talking about? Later in the second. OG guarding Kawhi. Okay.
I mean, OG is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. And he didn't
is right.
guard him in this game last night.
Yes. Kawhi had 21 in the first half, sending that streak to 42 consecutive 20-point games. Nicely done. Let's jump over to the fourth, Ramona. Kawhi. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to see Darius Garland back on the court. Dealt with, obviously, all those foot injuries the last about year with Cleveland. Saw him after the game last night. He's happy to be in L.A. Played really well in this game last night.
His pops Winston.
Look at how many passes they're making there.
The ball movement is phenomenal.
I'm telling you, Clippers shot very well from three-point in this game, and I think that's the key for them going forward. And it started with Kawhi Leonard. He just said, I haven't been known as being a three-point shooter, but if that's what it takes for my teammates to keep shooting him, I'm going to keep shooting him.
Okay, so the Clippers have been one of the best teams in the NBA since their 6-21 start. Their 26-11 record since that is the third in NBA behind the Celtics and Spurs, while their 118 offensive efficiency is the ranks fourth right now. How impressed were you, Kawhi?
It's cool, but the job ain't done. The season not over, so I mean, it's what's expected. Like I told the fellas, we don't train to lose, we train to win.
Guys always continue to keep fighting when our back's against the wall. And I credit all my coaching staff just for doing a great job, like I said earlier, of just staying with it, being positive, continue to help these guys get better. And, to start 6-21 and be, 500 right now, it's a big thing for us.
The most Kawhi response of all time. It's cool. It's just
Listen, I do a lot of post-game interviews down at Intuit Dome, so I hear a lot of Kawhi answers this way. And he just, I like the way he's setting the tone for this team because, A, he's out there. He's available. He's been playing all the time. But he basically said, like, oh, you're happy to be back at 500? And he's like, no.
No. Which is fair.
Like 500 is where we should be. Well, they shouldn't even be 500. They were picked by some people in the top 3 in the Western Conference starting this season. And so I think every single night, look, they've traded James Harden. They've had injuries in and out of this series all year long. And yet the one guy who's been consistent, did you ever think we would say it, is Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard has been out there and available and dropping 20 points every single night, 42 games in a row. Like this is the Kawhi that they thought they were getting all those years ago when they when they got him as a free agent in 2019, you see these glimpses, but they rarely last long. He's made it last, even though he's been playing with ankle and knee and all that. He's played through this stuff this year. Yeah.
You know, I talked to Brook Lopez after the game, and he said, hey, it was really tough when James Harden and Zubac were dealt. But he said the expectations, even with all the changes of this team, didn't change. And he felt like they've turned a corner. This team is very, very confident, even with all these newcomers. And he believes that they're capable of beating anybody in the league. I mean, the record suggests that they are certainly dangerous.
Yeah.
If you're the Thunder or the Spurs, that's your first round matchup is Kawhi and company and with nothing to lose.
Look at that 8-9, though.
I would think either would
Clippers and Warriors, Mark.
Yeah. But you got to see that Clippers team in the first round. That's a tough matchup, even for the top contenders.
No doubt. I mean, I think they're the clear favorites to get to 7th with all the injuries that Phoenix has. And look, to me, the thing watching that game last night, being an Intuit Dome, seeing Kawhi do his thing yet again for this Clipper team, it does feels like the final gut punch for this entire Clipper era with Kawhi Leonard. You mentioned it, Ramona. Like, I covered that Raptors run all the way to the title in 2019. Kawhi looks better than he did then. He's playing unbelievably well. He's, I think, got a chance to be a first-team All-NBA player this year. And for that to be happening now, 7 years after he got to L.A., after all the stuff that's happened, while we're waiting for the potential punishments to come down from Olympic Tower in relation to this aspiration scandal that's sort of clouded the entire Clipper season, it is unbelievable that this is what the version of Kawhi that's come now when all this other stuff has happened. And frankly, yes, this Clippers team will be a dangerous team to play in the first round, but they're not a team that has any real threat to make any noise.
Sure. If anything else, they shouldn't be ignored at this point, that's for sure. All right, still to come on NBA Today. Have we seen enough from the new-look Celtics to say that they're the team to beat back east? We're talking Tatum and the C's, plus literally, but after an emotional homecoming, the C's are on the road for one of the toughest 3-game stretches they'll face all season. The Celtics are in the midst of a tough 3-game road trip. They started it off with a key win in Cleveland on Sunday. Tatum went for 20 points in 27 minutes in just his second game back. Easy work for him. Next up, they're in San Antonio tonight for a showdown against the surging Spurs. Wemby has put absurd numbers in his last 3 games, averaging 31, 11 boards, and 4 blocks per game. And they will finish the trip Thursday with a shutdown versus the Thunder at DraftKings Sportsbook sees the most likely finals matchups. SJ will seek to break Wilt Chamberlain's all-time record for the most consecutive 20-point games. Thanks in part to this tough week, the Celtics have the 3rd hardest remaining strength of schedule by a point-at-win percentage and toughest of any team in playoff contention. Crazy times. All right, the Celtics have now been installed at plus 175 favorites to win the East after Tatum's return, followed by the Cavs, Knicks, and Pistons. That's according to DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, Tim, with Tatum back, are the Celtics now your favorite to win the East?
I think so, clearly. I mean, we said that yesterday on the show, and it's really what I've thought going back to the last couple months, waiting to see if Jason Tatum would come back and how he would look, because this team has already been in the top 5 in the league in offense and defense without Jason Tatum on the court. And he comes back, he looks like he hasn't missed a game. He's still an incredible help defender. He's still a tremendous rebounder. He's still a really good playmaker. He's a great spot-up shooter. He does all these things to elevate the players around him, and they've got a great system and a lot of great players around him. And Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics front office has done a remarkable job of finding and developing young players to fill in the gaps for some of these guys that they lost: Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Jrue Holiday, Luke Cornett. And while it's not the same Celtics team as it has been in the past, Jaylen Brown is playing better than he's ever been. Peyton Pritchard has taken on a bigger role. Derek White is one of the best 2-way guards in the league. This is a team that is about as complete as you can have, and an Eastern Conference that is wide open. This is the only team in that group that's gotten to the end and gotten all the way to the top, and I think that's going to make a huge difference in the playoffs.
You know, I'm reading this interesting book by Robert Parrish called The Chief. In the book, he states that when he joined the Warriors and left the Warriors to go to the Celtics, the one thing he noticed is the Celtics were a team and all they cared about was winning, which was certainly much different than Rick Barry and the Warriors were. And I see this in today's Celtics. Like, these guys don't care about their individual stats. They care about winning. They're motivated from not making it back to the finals. And that's why I do agree with the odds makers and think that they'll win the East, because they're just too talented, too connected, great coach. The only team, though, that I think could make it interesting is, respectfully to the up-and-down Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And maybe I'm too close to it because I'm doing a Donovan Mitchell diary, but him and James Harden and their size and their defense, I think Cleveland probably has the best shot at making it interesting.
I like that pick too, but I agree with you. I think Boston, just because they have been there before, because this group has been together for so long. Even though they have a lot of new players, a lot of young guys, the core group and who knows how to win is still there. But I'm still going to go back to the Knicks. I know we all just saw them lose 2 games here in Los Angeles, and so that's why you're off the Knicks, because they go up and they go down. But the amount of talent on that team and the fact that they were in the conference finals, they were right there. And they knew how close they were. They knew how to get it. This is an all-in kind of season for the New York Knicks. And I know that pressure bursts pipes, but I feel like this group can handle that kind of pressure, especially with Jaylen Brunson as the leader, especially with everyone in that locker room who knows what's at stake. Plus that style of play, that physical, grimy, defensive-minded style of play that they can turn it up. They don't do it every night. They don't do it when you want them to sometimes, but I think they can in the playoffs, and that style that tends to play well in the playoffs.
Pressure also makes diamonds, Ramona. I'm right there with you. I like it. All right, let's get back to last night's NBA action and go coast to coast. Starting in Brooklyn, where Ryan Rupert, you've been warned.
He tried to slow down. And the Nets have numbers. Oh, Dayron Sharp! He just free-mobbed the Grizzlies.
He's flexing. Everybody on the bench is flexing.
Yeah, well, also, Ian Eagle on the call. Does anyone know what frame mogging is? No? Maybe Ian is just way more hip than we are.
I mean, look at that jacket. That's the jacket for the GOAT right there.
That's not, I mean, why do we do Ian like that?
That's, he's the GOAT.
Hilarious. I'm going to use that, though. Next in Cleveland, the Cavs cruised past the Sixers, who were without Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Paul George, and B.J. Edgecombe. Tim, when can we expect Philly to get back?
Not soon enough. They're not going to have Tyrese Maxey tonight. They're not going to have B.J. Edgecombe tonight. They're not going to have Joel Embiid tonight. They're not going to have Paul George tonight. And it remains to be seen when they're going to have any of them back. This is a team that had been in 6 for the past several weeks. They're now firmly in the play-in picture. With a lot of the teams around them playing tankers, they could fall even further down the race.
Ooh, if they 119 to 116. With Steph out, along with several key rotation players, Golden State has now lost 4 of their last 5. Before the game, Steve Kerr sounded off.
I know this will not be a popular opinion in the league office, but I will continue to say it because it's obvious we need to play fewer games. We need to take 10 games off the schedule. I think it would be great for the league. And I get it. It's revenue, and you'd have to get everybody to agree to take a little less money, and that's a really hard thing to do. But what I know about the league, about coaching, about how hard it is to play the modern game with the pace and the space, I think it would be a more competitive and healthier league if we played fewer games.
Both poignant and ambitious, Tim. What say you?
Well, this conversation comes up now several times a year, right? At some point in the year, somebody will say, oh, there's too many injuries. The game is too hard. There's too much wear and tear being put on these guys. We have to shorten the schedule. The thing that's not really talked about is that feasible? And for most of the last 30, 40 years, that has not been feasible for one main reason. The NBA has generated a lot of revenue from TV, and specifically from its local TV deals, where there were these game guarantees where the local networks had to get 70 games on their air to give the teams the money. So there was always an immediate stop to any talk about shortening the schedule. However, we're currently in a situation where mainstream sports, one of the big RSN companies, has got about half the league's teams under its belt. They're in bankruptcy talks right now. A lot of the teams in the league are potentially going to be going away from them over the next 6 to 12 months. You already have several teams like Phoenix, Utah, that have gone to a free over-the-air local TV setup because their RSN situations already fell apart. So we are reaching a point where, with the league talking to our network, to Amazon, to some of these other companies about potentially pooling together a lot of these local rights to games, there is the possibility, at least potentially, for the NBA to reimagine a lot of its business, which could include shortening the schedule and having all the games be put on national television. That would potentially give us an opportunity to have the schedule be shorter, to what I think the most important thing is to get rid of back-to-backs completely, which is the biggest reason why guys don't play in games now. And then you have the chance to have guys like Steve Kerr said, out there more often, more rested, and ready to put on a better product for fans.
Look, they've been doing it the same way for 75 years. And at All-Star Game, I stood there and listened to Adam Silver say, sometimes after 75 years, we need to rethink things. So they've rethought the All-Star Game several times. I think we actually got a good one this year. This was a good one. Maybe that's Victor Wembanyama. Maybe that's the format. But they do need to rethink things. Baseball did this a few years ago. They've made some pretty big changes to the game to speed up the pace of play. I think basketball needs to do the same type of thing. And Tim, you brought up the way that it would probably happen. At some point, people are going to have to give back money. That usually doesn't go over well with anyone, but we have to get to this place because the game is just different. It's played too fast. These guys run so much more than they used to.
You know, and people say, well, why don't they just do it like baseball? And the thing that makes it tough is arena availability, travel constraints, TV, and all that. So I think the only thing to do is to lengthen the schedule. Hey, I wouldn't mind the finals 4th of July. Give it some fireworks.
Well, or you know what you could do? The thing I've campaigned for years? The preseason's a joke. Cut the preseason to 2 games. No, they don't.
Why?
Because the guys train all summer.
That's how guys get hurt.
The guys train all summer. But here's the thing, Mark. If they came to the preseason and played, I'd be all for that. But the teams don't even play guys in the preseason now anyway. So
I think training camp needs to be probably like 3 weeks.
Well, if you do that, then you're stretching the season out a lot. I would just say
that would cut down the injuries probably.
Well, maybe. But you now have 4 preseason games for these teams, and guys are maybe playing in one of them. If you just had
digging in the crates for the top SGA buckets during his scoring streak. No pressure, Javier. Here we go. Starting with number 5. Shea battling in the post. Come on, where's the fadeaway jumper?
Now that's that Kobe shot he's got.
That's a horse shot.
Just so smooth.
And the footwork.
Yeah. Wow. That was in December 19th of 24. Go to número 4. Ooh. Sorry, Asar.
Consistent thing in all these highlights is he just knows how to get to his spot.
Breaking ankles is crazy.
Nobody in the picture.
Did you see the pause, how long that was?
Asar's a really good defender, but he's got some tough highlights.
Yeah, no. Number 3, more recently, earlier this month.
I got bunnies too.
Sorry, Max Christie.
That was fine.
He's got a family, you know.
That was that was fine. I don't know if I call that a
number 2.
That is
not hard. Oh,
hey.
no.
We're Josh Hart. Another excellent
and the
defender.
green shoes, so you notice it even more.
I know.
Excellent.
Literally highlighted him.
I like how he took the ball out real quick.
And number 1, the go-ahead 3-pointer from last night.
I was going to say, Javier had an easy job
lead back was crazy.
The first shot, the number 1 spot on the list was done for him. I mean, look at that. Just easy, gets to his spot. Smooth as silk.
They're literally forcing him to the corner for a tough fall-away 3, and he makes it look easy.
That's what the greats do. Last night, SGA became the second player with 35 points, 15 assists, no turnovers in a game since they started tracking him in 1977.
How about
Mark,
being second
what
and third?
stood out to you about his historic performance?
Wow, Will did that twice.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, being second and third on that list now.
You know what? That cryptic Superman, Batman quote, I love that. He's just a special player, and I think because he shoots so many free throws, we don't see the loud of his game enough, but he was loud last night.
You know, Shea's like really into tennis. You know how he watches tennis all the time. And I remember talking to him one time and he was having a debate over who the best tennis player was. And I took Pete Sampras and he was taking Djokovic. And like you see this fire and this competitiveness come out of him at different times when you're least expecting it. Like we're just debating tennis players.
Sure.
This game right here, did you expect him to just start?
Strategy.
Like you don't see that from him, but he really has it in there. He just saves it for the.
I just keep talking about it, but the thing I can't get over about Shea and the thing that's so impressive to me about him is his control of everything that's going on at all times. Whether it's his demeanor off the court, like if they lose a couple games, he's never panicking in the press conferences. He always knows what to say. Obviously, had the iconic quote last night, but he's just a metronomic leader for that team on and off the court. And you saw in that play last night, he got where he wanted to go. It was an easy shot for him, made it look easy, got them to W.
And made it look cool. Hard to do.
Yes.
All right. Luka Doncic showed the money sign to a ref on Sunday night, and now that's coming out of his wallet. The NBA is fining the Lakers star $50,000 for a, quote, inappropriate and unprofessional gesture towards an official during the win.
Tim called that.
Oh, that guy is really lucky the refs did not see that on Sunday because
the upcoming season could be impacted. Now, there has been movement from both sides. The WNBA and WNPA swapped counter-proposals over the weekend, but as of now, there is no deal. For more, let's bring in WNBA reporter Alexa Philippou. We're down to the 11th hour here, Alexa, with these negotiations. What is the latest you're hearing on the possible deal?
Yeah, MJ, well, there will be a meeting today at 4 p.m. Eastern between the league and the Players Association. That is supposed to include some players, members of the executive committee specifically. I'm also told that this is an in-person meeting. There won't be a virtual component to it. And so there's been more of a sense, I would say, of almost like a secrecy or privacy to this in-person meeting compared to some of the other ones that we've seen throughout this negotiation process. The general sense around the league, though, is that there's not a ton of optimism that there will be a deal done by the time that meeting is over. Their hope, though, is that there is some progress made by getting some folks in the room together to hash some things out.
Okay, that's huge. So what happens if there's no agreement by the end of today?
Well, part of it depends on how you kind of view this quote-unquote deadline, right? The union has seen this date of March 10th and the deadline enforced by the league as potentially a negotiation tactic to force the players and their view to maybe agree to something that they wouldn't be ready to agree to yet. The league, however, has kind of maintained that they see this as a real deadline, that there's revenue at stake the longer that this negotiation goes on. And so the sense, too, is that if there's progress today, there wouldn't necessarily be anything automatically triggered with a change of the schedule, perhaps. But if they leave today's meeting and they don't feel good about the potential to make progress, you know, within the next maybe 5, 6, 7 days, and that's maybe where we would see some sort of scheduling changes actually coming into effect.
All right, a lot to keep track of here. Alexa, thank you, and keep us posted as always. All right, shifting to the college ranks, potential #1 pick, AZ Fudd and UConn looking to remain undefeated. They face Villanova in the Big East Championship. Let's get you right out there. Lots of energy. UConn going for their 13th straight conference title. Under 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Strong driving in with the bucket.
Injury she had. It's a pretty cool story.
That'll do it. The Huskies get the 90-51 win. Here's Coach after a dance party.
30.
I think Paige is still in the picture today because I think they would be really, really pissed if we didn't win this thing at the threat of her saying, I knew you couldn't do it without me.
Yeah. All right, the Huskies are heavy favorites to repeat as champs at -270. They are followed in the odds by UCLA at 6-1, Texas at 7-1, and then South Carolina at 8-1.
Go Tigers.
All season, build. This week, improve it.
This should be a lot of fun.
We go to Kansas City where we find our NBA draft analyst Jeremy Wu for the Big 12 tournament. Hello, Jeremy. Welcome into the show. Your newest mock draft drops tomorrow, and how lucky are we? We got a little early look. So what are the biggest movers in it right now?
Well, MJ, the biggest mover all season has been Keaton Wagler. Last time we did the mock, he was not in the lottery. Here we are in March. This guy's number 6 on the mock. Illinois freshman. Came into the year off the radar. Was a guy with no national profile. Illinois did a great job with him. They've developed him, and he's become an indispensable player for them. Big Ten freshman of the year. This guy is now potentially the second guard off the board. Also, Darius Acuff, a guy who's had a lot of buzz lately, has really established himself as a lottery-level guard. There's just more and more freshmen going off every day, and you know, Braden Burry is another guy who has risen from Arizona, sneaking into this group. So there's a chance we could have the most freshmen ever picked in the lottery, depending on how this goes, if we get to 12 of them. My whole top 10 right now is college freshmen, so this goes to show you how deep and talented this group is.
Yeah, keep your eye on the young ones. All right, so since you're in KC for that Big 12 tournament, what are you hearing from scouts in terms of what they're keeping their eye out from this tourney?
Well, the Big 12 this year has been, I think, the deepest league. That's what I've gotten back consistently. Obviously, you have Darren Peterson, A.J. DeBonsa, the two front runners for the #1 pick. You've got Kingston Flemings from Houston, Christian Anderson from Texas Tech, Braden Burries, Koa Pete from Arizona. That's just some of the guys here. There could be 8 or 9 first-rounders here this week in KC out of this league. So I was there this morning over at the arena. There are a lot of lottery teams here. A lot of them have multiple executives here. Some of these teams are 3 or 4 guys deep. And A.J. DeBonsa plays in a couple hours against Kansas State. So that's who they're here for. Darren Peterson plays Thursday. A lot to keep track of, but no matter where you're picking in the first round, there's someone at the Big 12 tournament for you, I think.
Yeah, speaking of DeBonsa, you also mentioned Darren Peterson. How close is the race between them for that top pick?
Well, what NBA teams have told me is this is narrowed significantly. I think there was an opportunity for Peterson, who is still #1 for me. He came into the season, I think there was a chance for him to run away with this. That's not what's happened. I think with his availability questions, his health, I think it's just thrown some wrinkles into this that NBA teams weren't necessarily expecting. Meanwhile, you have DeBonsa, who is leading the league NCAA in scoring as a freshman, right? So there's another alternative there. You've got Cam Boozer at Duke having probably the best season of anyone in college basketball, and he might be the #3 pick. So between AJ and Darren, I think they both have things to prove this week. Darren just needs to show that he can be healthy and consistent at the right time. And AJ, BYU season has kind of backslid a little bit without Richie Saunders, and I think AJ, if they can win a couple games here, it's not going to hurt.
For sure. Have to bring in Tim Bontemps, who's here and is heading your way, Jeremy, to Kansas City after today's show. Tim, who are you most excited to watch at the Big 12?
Well, I'm most excited to see my guy, Jeremy Wu, who I get to see rarely during the year, and I'm pumped to see him here in a few hours when I get to KC. But, I mean, Jeremy went through it before. This conference is absolutely loaded. There could be 9, 10 first-rounders. There could be, several other guys picked in the second round. And he went through some of these freshmen earlier. You got Kingston Flemings from Houston, the electric guard, who's been 5th on Jeremy's board most of the year. Got Chris Senak right here, an awesome, really athletic, powerfully skilled 6'11" forward. You've got Braden Burries, who's right here. He mentioned just getting into the top 10. He's had a remarkable year for Arizona. He's gone past Koa Pete, the guy who was earlier in the year in the lottery, another freshman player. There's guys up and down the board across, like Jeremy said, across the entire first round. The reason there are more NBA scouts and executives in Kansas City than anywhere else in the country this week is because there's more NBA players that are going to come out of that tournament than anywhere else. I'm really excited to see how this week shakes out. And as Jeremy pointed out, the only real question about Darren Peterson is his availability and if he could do it on the court. And he's got a chance this weekend in front of these scouts. We'll see if he gets to play DeBonsa in a game. But getting Peterson out there in the quarters, potentially the semis and the finals against this elite competition, could be a chance for him to lock this thing back up at the top of the board if he has a great week and shows he can stay on the court healthy.
Yeah, an infusion of young talent coming our way. All right, thank you, Jeremy.